Everyone, welcome to the meeting of the Weare Board of Selectmen for June 17th. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment.
Good evening.
Hi.
Helene Kirk. I just wanted to acknowledge the work and dedication of Peter Stockhouse. He was working in the pouring rain with his crew to get the gazebo area looking fantastic in order, if people wanted for graduation, to have pictures taken there. And he went, I think, beyond the call of duty, and I think that needs an acknowledgement. So bringing us to the gazebo. So the children are very happy. We have a gazebo there, and they've started using it by jumping over the banisters and stuff like that. So I wondered if it might not be a good idea if, for one thing, a sign was put up that said no skateboarding, biking, something. I mean, other places have done this kind of thing, so that there's just some notice given. How much it really makes a difference, I don't know. But that, and my other suggestion is that in the fall, when school begins, to speak with the principal, Sean Hillard, and see if when they have an early assembly, a selectman or two or somebody could talk to the children and get some buy-in from the children of the care of town property, including the gazebo, specifically the gazebo. It's a suggestion. It's kind of thing that when I was teaching, we often had those kind of interactions with the community. Thought maybe that might help us a little bit. Thank you.
I think Naomi was going to write a letter in the fall, too, because we mentioned that we were talking about it.
Yeah. There's a problem over there, and because I've been on with the school several times, and what happens is there's some kids that are able to stay, and they're waiting for either an older sibling or waiting for a baseball or one other sport to start. So they're not necessarily part of the Boys and Girls Club. So the kids that are part of the Boys and Girls Club, they can make behave because there's an adult there. I don't know why. Some kids are just raised differently, that you can ask them to stop doing things and you get a hand gesture, you get some other profanity, because they're not part of the program. I don't know what to do with those kids. We've had several conversations, me and the principal, to try to brainstorm. I've got the police going by now when they see kids to stop, whether it's good or bad, and tell them this isn't the playground. I don't know what to do, what else we can do. I mean, it's going to look like the old one before long if we keep it up.
Well,
You don't want to know my solution.
Can we
That
eliminate?
wasn't proper.
Can we eliminate them using that area at all together? That's town property. That's not school property. So can we fence that off?
I mean, you can, but these kids that we're talking about aren't part of a school activity. They're kids that, for some reason, are able to stay after school on their own, whether they're supposed to go to the library or they're going to the store and then the library, I'm not sure. But they're able to not have any supervision for some reason. But we can work it a little bit more. I think that's
Yeah.
all we can do. I don't know what else to do.
Well, I could go over there. We could take turns. Take a stick.
We did at the library, because it was causing a problem there as well, did have a meeting with the chair of the school board. And so they're trying to figure out
That's exactly it.
some kind of solution for those children. I don't know that it's those children.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But I'm just saying they
Yeah,
are working on a
I'm not
solution.
pinpointing a certain child or anything like that. I don't know where they come from, because we're kind of guessing where they're coming from. We don't know.
But it is after school.
Yes.
And I just think generally if you get people, children, to buy into taking care of something, often you get better results.
Yeah, no, and that's a great, we didn't talk about doing an assembly thing, but we can, so.
Anybody else for public comment?
I think they're on the agenda.
They're on the agenda.
You guys here for Quaker Street?
Yes.
You're actually on the
You're
agenda.
actually on the agenda.
Yeah, you're on the agenda, so.
Okay, so wait.
Yep.
Okay.
Regroup, try again. Yeah, yeah.
I would
Okay.
just like to thank the Highway Department. They went down and cut the tree down by the barn on East Street that was rubbing up on the roof, wrecking it.
Okay.
And they also cut all the trees along the tennis court, which was, they were all dead anyway. They were
Yeah, I
fallen.
noticed that they were all dead, yes.
Thank you, Ben, for taking care of that.
And I'd also like to thank you for the mowing up Flanders Memorial.
I saw you did that today.
I know, because it was growing up, and I was getting kind of nervous about, that it was going out too far.
Yep,
Perfect. Thank you.
yes.
Okay. We're a little early for the public hearing, so,
You could take, where'd she go? You could take it up.
yeah, I know, now I'm looking at it, yeah. Helene, you want to do the update for the library?
We're just waiting on time.
Yeah, we're just waiting on time.
Push me right out, thank you. I think we take one and pass it on. And I just do it the right way. If you don't have enough, I'll grab it from you.
Yeah, there's extra. There you go. Oh, yeah, I saw this. Beth put it on the website.
So I'm still Helene Kirk. I'm an alternate trustee of the library, and you opened the door for us at the library to come and speak to you periodically, like maybe once a month or once every 2 months. So I'm here to do that, and I'm fortunate because I'm here to see that I introduce you to the summer reading program, and through Beth, it's on the town website, so people can see it on that website as well. I just want to mention that the kickoff is a collaborative effort. Park and Rec and the Lions Club are both involved in the kickoff time, and the kickoff is the 27th, so it's coming up really soon. School will be out, kids will be ready to go for it. The Friends of the Library are sponsoring the whole month, and they've contributed $2,000 to the functioning of that month. If you take a look, Mondays is young children in the morning and ages 10 and older in the evening. On Tuesdays, it's elementary school age children. On Wednesdays, it's Stories at the Lake. Thursdays, it's an integrated activity covering all ages. So families, whether you have little ones or teens or whether you're a senior or whatever. And then Saturday, there will be chess and also a special comic day. And the comic day is going to be in the town hall. We expect a pretty big turnout for that. So that it's a pretty full month. If you look on the back of the sheet that I just gave you, it breaks things down a little bit so you can read all the specific information that's going on for yourself. There's an increase in card holders of about 3% a month.
Wow.
So that's pretty exciting. And the Facebook page has about 1,000 followers, which is also exciting. I don't do Facebook, so I'm not one of the 1,000. But besides books and magazines and all the different activities that you see, you can get books through the interlibrary loan. You can get books online. There's a lot of different internet service. And you can get help in about anything. And I know this from firsthand experience. If there's something you have a question about, they'll help you figure out the answer for it. The Sawyer room downstairs is complete. The floor and the cabinets are in. It looks light and really, really good. So that's a really big step forward, and thank you for the help from the town. The trustees meet the first Thursday of the month at 1 o'clock in the Page Room, which is in the old part of the library. And it's an open meeting. We invite anybody to come. And we also invite the selectmen to make an appearance, join us during this month. It will be good for you, and it will be good for the library as well, benefit all of us. Thank you for allowing me this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Benji might have something.
You got anything?
Oh, there's a couple quick things.
Well, you got about 4 minutes. No.
Well, on the back of the knotweed, that was Bill Tiffany that cut that for us, so thank you to him. While we're talking about that, I'm in the process of researching companies to spray that, like the state did, and I found some other towns are. I was gonna get my license and get set up to do it, and come to find out there's companies that do it. I spoke with a resident that is an employee of the town of Goffstown, and they did it, and she kind of led me in the right direction. So, what I want to ask you guys is, in a couple of weeks is your next meeting. I got family coming from a long ways away, and I was going to take them deep sea fishing that Monday. So, if I can get things lined up, I'd like to get the contractor on board to spray the knotweed. The contractor will be responsible for all state permitting, all GPS mapping, the entire kit and caboodle. It takes about 100 days to get the permits. So need to get started so they can get a fall spray in. If I have a black and white, person who, black and white who should do it for price wise and qualifications and everything, I'd like to be able to have Naomi to present it to you guys. That's all right, so I don't have to come.
Now, where is it most prominent in this town?
All over town.
Thank you.
All over.
So within the town
So
boundaries.
how we started was I sent a guy out for 2 days with a map of the town and a purple highlighter, and he highlighted the general areas where all the knotweed is. The contractor that'll come in, he will go around and take my map. He will GPS all those locations because those locations have to be sent to the state. The state has to make sure there's no wells too close. It's a lot to it. They don't want you doing it during leaf peeping season. They don't want you doing it. There's a lot to it. That's why when I looked into it more, it'd be terrific to have someone else responsible for all that.
I like that idea.
But if I don't have to come, that meeting be good. If I might get back soon enough, who knows how rough the water is. But the hurry up on it is that it's 100 days for the permitting. So to get a fall spray in, and I think that I'm gonna write it up to either do a fall and a spring or a fall, spring and fall, depending on what the money is. I don't really know what it's gonna cost, probably $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 maybe, but if that includes 3 sprays, all the permitting, that's not that bad.
Right.
We have a lot of knotweed in this town. It's really bad. In the old days, not too long ago, 10, 15 years ago, they told you to dig it up. Well, come to find out, 1 inch of root grows 3 new sprouts. So we did a lot of digging of knotweed in this town for somebody smart.
Figured out
what
to stop, yeah.
So,
Now, Benji, will you have more than one contractor?
yeah, I'll get 3 prices.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
all, okay.
Or try
That's
to.
all, I just wanted
Try
to make
to.
sure that,
I'm gonna
yeah,
try to.
okay,
Yep.
all right.
So,
Okay.
I don't. sit
Do
me
you,
down
do you
with-
have a particular line you'd like to take that from, or?
No, I'll discuss that with Naomi.
Okay.
It's kind of something that just came up last week, so.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to take care of it, like you said. I mean, it's just.
We gotta get
it's a-
something done. I've wanted to spray it for
The
years.
state
Before
did
they were gonna cover it black bags and everything else. I used to have a herbicide license, so, and now they decide that's what they need to do with it. And I didn't know there was contractors that did it, so I just learned.
The state sprayed last fall,
They did.
or last summer, there, at least by the house there.
The state's doing it, yeah. Then there's other
their routes.
towns that are doing it. yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Couple other things, but if you gotta have your public hearing.
Yeah, we'll have the hearing.
We have to start the public hearing.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing off the agenda for you. All right, gonna open a public hearing at 6:45 to hear public testimony and comment increasing the non-resident fees at Chase Park. The board will also consider making entire grounds a no-smoking facility. Is there anybody who'd like to speak to, for, against, or indifferent?
She's the lady that instigated it.
Perfect. Step right up.
You did.
Janine Lynch on the Department of Park and Recs. Second thoughts every day. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So as I was here last time, we discussed at our last meeting to raise the current rates for non-residents. Currently, non-residents pay $10 per car to enter Chase Park, Lake Horace for the day, and $30 for a boat or a jet ski. That's the only ones that we're looking at changing. So the parking access for non-residents for the day, we're looking to raise from $10 to $20 per car, and boat ramp access, $35 to $45 per boat or jet ski. So we're not changing seniors or veterans for non-residents, and we're not suggesting to change anything for residents. The reason why we're suggesting the raising of the rates is due to the overcrowding at the park. Last year, between July 1st and July 5th, in that 1 week time, but not even 1 week, 4 to 5 days, 140 non-resident cars purchased day passes to get into the lake. So we thought this might help encourage people to go to Clough State Park or any other surrounding state parks. So to keep our rates comparative to the other area parks, before, so a family of 4, I just use my family as an example, so 3 people over the age of 12, 1 age 11. A family of 4 to go to Clough or Greenfield State Park would be $14, whereas Chase Park being 10, Sunapee would be 17. And if one of my children brought a friend that was over 12, it would go up to $18 to go to Clough or Greenfield and $22 to be at Sunapee. So by us raising our rates from $10 to $20, we're a little more comparative to the state parks that have more space and more parking. And as far as the boat ramps, again, it's just the overcrowding. It looks, from some of my research at the last meeting, I'd been asked if to compare any other boat ramps around. It looks like a lot of the state parks don't allow motorized boats at all. They allow kayaks and canoes, and all that access is through the fee that they would enter, so it's not an additional or different price. So I don't have very comparative rates, but I know since Gun Lakes shut their doors that we've gotten a little bit more crowded for out of town. And as far as the no smoking goes, we've been non-smoking on the beach area, just not the parking lot. And it's been kind of difficult for people to draw the line between the parking lot and the beach, and it's not really working. So we're still having a lot of mess and a lot of smoking in the beach area. So if the whole entire park was non-smoking, then there wouldn't be any gray area or where you were or any of that. It's just stop smoking, so it can keep the beach cleaner and a little more family friendly. That's everything.
Okay.
How does this
For today.
affect the people that are, say, at the campgrounds?
So I believe when they pay tax at a campsite, that falls in Weare residency. I believe. I'm not
However, some
positive.
don't pay because they register their vehicle. They register their trailers rather than pay tax on it. So how does that affect them?
So I'm not in the actual gatehouse as far as how they would differentiate
They
that.
wouldn't
I
be
know,
on they wouldn't be on the tax roll, in other words. They wouldn't be.
I know that they ask for car registrations to get your fee to go in, but I imagine that if you were camping at Cold Springs or something like that, if you showed a receipt, I'm a resident in Weare for this time period type of thing, I would imagine that you'd be able to do the town.
Yeah, the
Resident
seasonals are
fees.
taxed. So the
You
seasonal
have
sites.
Not
No,
all of them,
you have two
no.
options.
You have an option.
You have
If
an
somebody
option.
wants
Right.
to.
You have an option.
All right, if you want to register the trailer, it's not permanent.
Yeah, the trailer, but if you
But if
don't
you put a
register it,
structure
then it's
on the-
considered a.
Yeah, if you put a
Yeah.
structure down on it, then it's
Right,
taxed.
but the
Yeah.
seasonals would still
Right.
be there for the whole season
Right.
because
But they have to have some, yeah, they have to
They
have
would
some type of
register
proof,
it.
because
I would
they
imagine
ask.
a receipt, I mean, you must pay receipt, have a receipt.
You have to pay something to be
At the
there, so.
campground, you have
yeah.
to pay some type of fee.
Yeah.
Just the same as if you were renting a cottage, but you lived in Massachusetts, you would have your rental agreement or something like that.
Yeah,
you
some
know,
kind of
to show.
documentation saying that you were there. Yeah, I think that would be suffice,
Right.
myself. But,
Maybe then to let the campground owners know that if this goes through, because people wouldn't come there with a receipt because they wouldn't know.
right, first
Right, what they
time.
need to prove for residency. Well,
Right.
I mean, so non-residents have always paid more than town residents.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been that way. It's always been town residents pay season. So season pass for $10 for the season versus a non-resident would pay $10. So we're not changing as far as the status quo of resident versus non-resident, just how much more they're paying. So last year, whatever they would have submitted, I mean, I don't know if they had to show something last year. Does that make, I mean, we're not changing
Right,
who is a resident and who isn't. It's just how much the non-residents are paying.
right,
I mean, they may have just said they were at the campground, but now that you're doing a different type
yeah.
of
I'd want
situation.
a little proof myself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
so-
should talk to the people that work in the actual gatehouse and see, you know,
How they've
how
been-
how it's
Well,
actually.
they ask for, I know I've been there, they ask for.
Car
They ask for
registration.
your registration or some proof.
Right. I mean, I go
They
in
have
and I
to-
show my
I
registration.
mean, you have people that have cottages that own, but they're not residents for year-round, but,
Right.
you know, they'd have to bring a tax bill or
Right.
something with some ID to show that they're
Right.
actually property owners, so that they
Right.
could get in, but, so it'd be similar to that. I would imagine that they gotta bring a receipt or something from the campground that
I mean,
they're
it's
at.
been years going on where you're either non-resident or resident as far as
Right.
entering into the park.
Right.
So,
I mean, we're not shutting it down in non-residents, it's just.
No, I know.
I know it's gonna be a little increase, that's all.
it is an increase. And I mean, and some residents even choose to just buy the day pass, and they
Yeah.
don't even choose to buy the season pass, because we
Right.
actually have a list of resident day pass purchases too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can definitely talk to the director and see if the gatehouse has a protocol for
Okay.
Yeah.
non-permanent residents, but temporary residencies, and see how that's handled. Absolutely.
Would anybody like to speak to it? Frank? Frank would like to speak,
All right.
yeah.
Frank Campana. Basically going to ask the same question that I asked at your first public hearing. And that's in regards to Article 29 on March voting, which was to, it was a petitioned article to limit access to Weare residents only. Unfortunately, I'm speaking a little bit out of ignorance tonight because I looked at the agenda very, very late. Unlike the last time, there had been no minutes. The last minutes that were posted by the Parks and Rec Committee was last July. There were no hard copies in the town clerk's office. Was not able to get that information tonight. It was just too late. So, and I realize that I'm going to make the same statement, somebody's going to hide behind, well, it's an advisory, article, which passed considerably. So, was there any discussion on the part of the board, on the part of the committee, in regards to that Article 29? And if there was, either to accept it or not to accept it. If you accept it, then there's no need for any non-residence fee of any type, I guess. So I'd just like to know the status and, what's the position going to be, in regards to Article 29. I don't have a horse in the race, and I certainly don't want to speak for anybody that, signed that petition, but that's what's in front of me and everybody else, and I see no action taken on it.
Jack, you want to say something about that?
Last I knew, that was still being brought forth through legal counsel to see if we can actually legally do that. And that was the last I heard, and I haven't heard much more of it, so.
Because of the way the deed was
Yeah,
written.
because of
When
the-
when Chase Park was deeded to the town, there was I don't want to say unclarity, but there was.
There's still research.
Some gray area about who could be, if it could be restricted to residents only. And Article 29 does say, petition to have Chase Park access limited to Weare residents and other permitted users only. And the other permitted user to me would be a non-resident. In my opinion, and I'm just one of 5, but to me, that would be a permitted user.
It wasn't clear.
Yep. Yep.
I don't want to get into a debate.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But I'm curious to know, and I think I recall that being mentioned about the
The deed.
legal.
Yep.
But, you know, the warrants are run before the town attorney, before they're printed. Wondering why that wouldn't have come up.
That was a petition, Frank.
Yeah, we can't touch petition
can't
articles.
Can't touch petition article.
We can't change
Even for legality, to see if it's
You
legal?
don't like the word, but it was advisory.
Right,
A petition is always advisory.
so we can't,
Right, I
we
get
can't change
that.
it.
If they wanted to
Even
change
if
it
you-
on the
But
town
to me-
meeting floor,
but-
you could have.
If they
Pardon
change.
me?
I believe you could have changed it on the town meeting floor. No
Well,
one did.
Oh, it can be
Yeah,
changed there?
okay.
Okay, that's news to me.
Well, it's hard for me to believe, advisory or not, that the town, if it's advisory, it's hard for me to believe that the town attorney would say, yeah, put it before the voters anyway. It's ridiculous. What are we paying the person
They had
for?
160 signatures, so you got 160 people want to withdraw it. We could have.
No, I'm not talking about withdrawal. You said legal. The
I'm just
word
saying,
legal.
but they put, 160 people took the time to put it on the ballot.
Okay,
Right.
So we put it on the ballot. Whether it's
As
legal or
written.
not legal, you take it as written.
Yeah, we have to take it as written.
Because they did their due diligence, and now you gotta find 160 people to sign off to say, nope, change my mind till next year. Because
okay.
that's what we found 2 years ago on a piece of property for the turnaround. That's why there was 2 articles on there. We wrote one that was more legal because it
Okay.
was conveying the turnaround partway in a subdivision.
Okay,
Janine and I had talked long before, and this, she can get up and say it for herself, but it was more to, I'll call it, take the temperature of the town to see what they wanted.
okay,
Because she and I have talked, and what they wanted to do was, see what people wanted.
yes.
If you wanted
yes,
only residents, you'd get more yeses than you got nos.
Okay,
Then the next step is to work towards maybe doing something, but with the effort of town council as well.
okay,
So that's where we are.
yeah,
But it's not gonna change this year's, what's going on this year.
Yeah.
This year's park is open just like it is.
yeah. No, and I think that statement was made at the last hearing, too.
Correct.
Yeah, but just,
So the next, we were gonna end up work with Parks and Rec for next year, and if there needs to be something changed to go to town meeting, we would be prepared to do that.
yeah,
It's a lease and we don't own it, so it's tricky.
And the deed is, I know
It's
that
open
the
to the
town's
public.
council is very tricky. It's got a lot of
Public wording in
It
it.
was left
different
to the
wording in
public.
there, so they have to,
yeah, I can appreciate that.
that,
It just seemed
it
like,
isn't something that's cut and dry. They're trying to find out what the legality of it is.
It's a long road. We have a spot on the Parks and Rec board though, Frank, if you want.
well, thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak?
Mine's in mine.
Donna?
Helene, hi, Donna Osborne. Helene and I were discussing maybe do out-of-towners $5 a head, because if somebody comes in with a minivan for $20, it's not going to help us out at all. So if the out-of-towners, if you could do $5 a head, so if they come in with a limo, you can charge $5 a head, not $20 for a limo. I don't know.
Anybody else? Was that considered?
We did talk about per head and we wanted it kind of easier at the gatehouse. Sorry. Parks and Rec did talk about different ideas and per person was definitely discussed. And making it easier at the gatehouse was ultimately decided because then you get people hiding under clothes, under blankets, under, so it's like, so we just.
You may lose anyways, yeah.
Yeah. So just per car, it made it easier at the gatehouse, and then it had to be police. But I like the per person suggestion.
Anybody else like to speak? 2 or 4 are against or indifferent? Okay, we'll close the public hearing.
You want to take your vote now?
Yeah, I think so.
Discuss it amongst yourselves.
I'll entertain a motion that we adopt the new non-resident fee package as proposed by the Parks and Rec for Chase Park for this year, and also to make the complete facility non-smoking.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
I'm going to abstain.
When do you want it effective?
immediately.
Oh, I'd say. How about, the only question I have on that is for signage. Do you have enough signs to post the whole
How
place?
about July 1st?
Have you got signage for that?
It would just be, at this point, I think prices are just in paper in the
Uh,
gatehouse.
I'm talking about the moving of the signs for no smoking.
At the picnic table, we could move it to the gatehouse, I guess. We have the signs up at the picnic tables.
beach to the gate?
Yeah,
Yep,
so
okay.
absolutely, we could do it as soon as
So
Saturday. The
July-
next day of opening is Saturday, so.
July 1?
July 1.
July
July
1.
1st.
Make
was
it
the
July
decision.
1st, effective July
First.
1st.
So,
Yep. And I think you probably ought to post your fees publicly, not just on a piece of paper in the gatehouse, so they
Right.
come in.
Absolutely.
Maybe we can have them
It's-
published in
In the
Yeah,
Weare.
the Where in the World.
Okay.
that way there's no question about it when they
Right.
come in. You know, every place else they post them publicly, so.
Yeah,
The
I know we
public.
have our hours have been posted
Yep.
publicly and everything, and I think because we thought this may be changing, we didn't try to
Right.
print all the, post all the old, if it didn't pass, if it did pass. Okay, absolutely.
Okay. We'll move on.
did you take it, did you vote?
We did.
We did.
It was a 4 yes, 1 abstention.
Okay.
Me.
Gotcha. I was just trying to figure out how many days somebody could run in and buy before July 1st and go get your tickets.
Yeah.
Just teasing.
Get your season pass.
Just season pass.
No, these are daily ones, so that's why I didn't say it.
All right, moving on to the Quaker Street drainage discussion. I think that's what you guys are here for.
Two things under front, real quick, could I?
Oh.
You want me till after? You told me to sit down.
Yeah.
And you did a good job. If I had a cookie, I'd give it to you. Go ahead. Yeah, we'll
Two real quick things, I hope.
before we
right?
forget, yeah.
Right. On to the gazebo thing, real quick. First of all, I was over there, and saw Tim Matheson, and in speaking, he has two, I believe they're 175 gallon, they're like totes, be handy for storing oil. He offered to give them to me, I said sure, but you don't want to give them to me without
The blessing of the board.
your guys' permission. That was
Just holding totes?
Yeah, I just did get rid of a few drums, that's all.
Okay, works for me.
So my suggestion was you always have to have a dollar amount when you want to make a motion. You gotta see what the dollar amount is, because he's looking for a motion.
I have no idea what they're,
He's looking for a motion that we accepted them.
Except the
So
donation.
with that, you're looking for donations for tax write-off. So the only reason I do it.
They're worth about $10 a piece on
I don't know, I
Craigslist.
don't know what they're worth, I didn't
I didn't know
think
either.
about that at the
I
time.
mean, you can get a 275 oiled tote on there, the clean ones for $100.
I'm just
And those
saying,
are clean.
if you are confident, whatever they are, then you can make your motion, because if it's less than $5,000,
Oh, it's
you
well
can
less.
do it at one of your meetings.
Yeah, it's well less than 5. I would think $50 would be fair.
Yeah.
At max, each, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that work for everybody? All
I have
right.
no idea.
Move to
Accept the
accept the donation of approximately $100 worth of totes from Tim Matheson to the Highway Department.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And I know there's people that would like a paved handicapped ramp up there, and I just need that kind of to be up to you guys. Let me know what you want to do. I will take care of the dirt work and the paving, but you need to let me know before I go tearing out steps and paving things up to that new gazebo. I don't have a problem doing it at all,
I think we should have a larger discussion about that.
and that's fine, another time.
Just because the gazebo is really not where it was, so now those steps kind of.
No, it's not lined up the way it was, not exactly in the same spot.
So steps off East Road, you come up East Road, and then you gotta go that way to go to the gazebo.
If you look at the gazebo, it's off to the left about
Right.
half the distance of the gazebo, which is fine, I don't care.
Yeah, the
but-
stairs line up with the trash barrel.
right. But
So things need to be removed. The granite steps need to be removed. To square the walkway up to the entrance of the gazebo means some of the granite edging or whatever you would call it would need to be removed. Things would need to be shifted around, which would mean we'd have to remove granite, you'd have to have stock house redo some stuff. Definitely would be a fall project. We're not gonna do it before the hoorah coming up.
No.
But
When does the pavers come back in the fall to do your handwork?
whenever I can get them. I'm gonna have them come this fall, yes. So they're coming hopefully sooner than later, so it can be a discussion at a time, not a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem working with whoever you guys want me to work with, but I'm not gonna go up there and do anything without you
Well-
six telling me what to do.
Yeah, I think that you should work with the building inspector, because he has all the codes for that, for handicapped accessibility and stuff. I would think you'd want to work with
Grade
him.
and stuff like
All
that.
the grade.
Yeah, and that's fine. I have no worries about that. It's just, there's gonna be a lot of landscaping differences. You have to take them granite steps and either get rid of them or move them around the other side, which means tearing up the new lawn. Okay, if you do it with an excavator, skid steer, you gotta,
Yeah,
You
it's
tear it
just
up.
a lot of moving of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So, just so nobody thinks it's throwing a wheelbarrow load of hot top up the hill. There's a lot to it, so. And I don't have a problem doing it. We're capable of doing it. Just, I'm gonna give that to you guys.
Right. It's gonna be something that we have to decide on. That's what I mean, you're gonna have to
Yep.
take a walk over there. and look at
Yeah,
it.
we'll take a walk over there. We'll take a site walk.
It'll be a fall project though,
Yeah.
because he's already put the bark mulch down and it looks nice over there for
Yeah,
this.
yeah, we're not gonna disturb it this week. I think we're all set.
Something he brought up a question that I have, and I'd like to have it answered before Parks and Rec leaves.
Okay.
Who empties the trash
So,
in the receptacles?
at the gazebo or anywhere?
At the
gazebo
grounds
area.
over there because of the receptacles?
I know we have dumpster services at the parks and the playgrounds, but as
Right.
far as the actual trash receptacles, I'm not sure. I know the director usually, I don't know if the director contracts it out with the dumpster people or if it's her. I know that in the past she's had to go and, like, for example, Bolton Park was overflowing and she physically went and took care of it herself, so.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, the
because I know
skate
that when
park.
I was there, to watch the
Skateboard
gazebo
park, we're
being
responsible.
installed,
The trash was.
it's full.
Okay.
I mean, really full, and I know their event is coming up on the
meeting is
patriotic
tomorrow.
I
celebration.
take care of it all this weekend.
Yeah, okay.
Make
there's
make
one
sure you leave them
answer.
empty.
Then again, I didn't know who
I
took
know they-
care of
No,
it. so
and I don't either, so that's definitely
yeah, I mean,
something.
it'd be,
They take care of the trash. Parks and Rec
Parks and
takes
Rec.
care of the trash at the skateboard park, which
Right.
we had that agreement.
care of it there, too.
and they
And the
take care of
gazebo
it at
is
the
on our
gazebo.
list of
Yep,
our park,
and that
because
is.
it's that,
Only
it's that
came
field, the field is
So that would
ours,
make-
and so is the gazebo.
so that would make
it's
sense.
not-
It
Yeah,
was part of
so,
that
So
discussion
it is
we
Parks
had.
and Rec, okay.
yes, the
2
gazebo
years
and the
ago.
field is Parks and Rec,
Okay.
and that's where the, so, yep, so it'll be on, I'll talk about it tomorrow night's meeting.
Okay,
We had that,
Thank
what,
you.
2,
Yep.
3 years ago with the school.
Yep. All right. You good?
I'm good.
All right. You guys in the back, you're up. Yeah. Third time's a charm.
Put a face with the name. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Okay,
So,
let's have a discussion.
Sharon and Mark Rassico, we own the property, at 76 Quaker Street. So the first really point of contention is we bought that farm, of course, not knowing that there was water being piped into the property, because it isn't recorded. It wasn't on our deed, so of course we didn't know that. And, we've been told that that's just how it was done, and that's just how it was done, but that doesn't make it right. We have a property that is completely unusable. A third of our property, he knows how many square feet, but it's not just the regular water that we have some other areas where we have some puddles or what. This has made it completely unusable. We can't mow it for maybe a month of the year, and for the noxious weeds for our livestock, it's even that month of the year, the driest month, it's still, there's wet spots we can't go over. The mud's created havoc for our animals. I can't even get to the orchard trees that are there to try to clear out all that brush. And, I know things were done this way a long time ago, but that doesn't make it right. Doesn't mean it should continue. I mean, just as you were saying with spraying the knotweed, you know, this is how it was done then, this is not how it should be done now. It's just not acceptable. I know that for the town, you know, when they have a right of way or they're supposed to be able to do something on a property, it's supposed to cause as little harm to the property owner as possible. And we are really being harmed, and it's just not right. There's ice in the wintertime that completely covers the field. I just had a major back injury on one of our horses. I've fallen down, gotten hurt. I mean, it's dangerous.
not a
It's just
small
not,
issue,
you know, it's not a
it's not a
small
trickle.
issue. And it's not me worrying about a little water spot on my lawn. It's an issue.
Now, this, just for reference, this is the big yellow place?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
The
okay.
Chase Farm.
I was gonna ask that because I had no idea.
Just for
what
reference, I'm like
that is.
76, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the issue with the water?
Well, there's two culverts that go from the opposite side of the street directly into our property with no provisions. There's no culvert,
No ditch,
swale,
yeah.
there's nothing. It just.
Literally
it's-
is being piped into our
Yeah.
field.
So what happens is every time it rains, we have 2 or 3 days of water runoff. It comes from the opposite side of the road. It's, numerous fields over there. There's a farm across the street. There's just a lot of area that, this water's being diverted, and now it's up to us to take care of it.
It's all
It
the
just-
water from
it's-
across the street and
yeah.
up the road, coming down and being put onto our property.
We can deal with our own water, but I
Yeah.
can't deal with hundreds of acres.
It
of
shouldn't
water
cost
from
us a
across the street.
fortune to try to deal with
So we're just
the
looking
rest of the
for-
neighborhood's water
a
for our
little-
farm.
A little bit of help, we don't know, what you guys are willing to do. It just seems odd that the water has to go from the opposite side of the street into our property. It all pitches downhill, So I know you've taken a look at it, right? And, I'm not sure, what you guys could do to keep it on that side of the street,
Yeah.
And I'm sure you may have taken a look, I doubt you were able to walk out there and look at the real full impact
Yeah,
of what
you
it's
can't
done to
walk
the
out
property.
there.
You can't see it from the
You'd be up
street.
to here.
Right now you would be,
Yeah.
like,
And
still.
it rained, pretty hard yesterday. And we'll be dealing with that water for 5 days if it doesn't rain from now till then. But, with the next 4 days of rain coming, it's a wetland. It's unusable.
And we bought a farm. We didn't buy wetland. We didn't buy swampland.
Jim, did you do a plan for them? Okay, so Jim Donison is a neighbor. He used to be the town engineer.
Yep.
Jim and I have had a couple conversations. And Jim was gonna put together a plan, careful. Better than kicking the bucket.
Thanks.
So I'm a neighbor and I'm part of the problem. Because
At least you admit, that's half the battle.
I live across the street and I live upslope. So Jim Donison, and I live at 95 Quaker Street. And it's funny you say the Chase Farm, because that's like 5 generations ago, or 5 owners ago.
That's always been the Chase Farm.
Right, that's funny. But I know that it's been used as called the Chase Farm. So we looked at some alternatives, and as Sharon and Mark mentioned, there's a culvert that goes across the street. It's 15 inches in diameter, and it outlets onto their property. And one solution, there's many solutions, but one solution would be to construct a drainage ditch from the outlet of that existing pipe, which outlets onto their property, to the tree line. That's about 250 feet. So the drainage, it's a fairly steep slope, so a 15-inch pipe would be able to handle it. And so I just estimated the cost of 250 feet of pipe plus bedding, stone bedding underneath it, plus a contractor to install it at about $9,000. And so that's one solution. So I just throw that out there for your review and comment.
Thank you.
Okay?
Do you guys have any questions, or?
I got a question for the Public Works Director.
250, is that gonna go all the way across your field, or is that gonna go partially across?
Partial. Yeah, it doesn't make it to the property line, but it gets it to the point
You
where.
can't even get.
Goes to the tree line.
Okay.
And then at the end of the tree line, one alternative would be put some stone at the outlet of it, just so it flares it out and prevents any kind of erosion.
Question for
And
Benji.
that doesn't include any blasting.
No, I wouldn't do it anyway.
Our tractor can't pick up some.
He's a blaster.
Okay.
Is the other alternative to ditch that side of the road better, so it's a deeper ditch
I don't know how you
line?
ever gonna get a ditch line go all the way down inside that road to run the water. You got, right across the street, you got stone walls that are close to the road and then big maple trees. You know, I know it's, I've spoke to these folks quite a bit, and, you know, there's a little frustration in the beginning because they called me in the winter and I kinda forgot and didn't get back to them, so that was my fault. But it's one of those things, you know, what do you do? I don't know. That's where the water has gone. That there has been a drainage ditch, an old one there, a long time ago. And it probably worked a long time ago, but it is no longer
Working.
like it used to.
Filled in.
You can see where there was a little stone crossing, probably not nearly wide enough for modern day equipment. This, you know, 250 feet certainly would be wide enough to cross anything you would need. Contractor's gonna make out good.
Seems to
I
me.
understand frustration, that's where I'm stuck, I don't know what you want me to say, I understand frustration. It's nothing the last 5 road agents have done, you know, when we rebuilt that road, we didn't even replace that culvert.
No.
I was here when we rebuilt it, that's, you know, and before then, it was probably, time before that it was paved, it was probably a dirt road.
Yeah, it was.
You know, that's what happened. There was no roads 300 years ago, and you start cutting property in half with roads, and you still gotta let the water run. That water, if you go down on a super rainy day, right across from, Centerwood School there where the car wash is, you see that big run of water. That's that water. It keeps picking up as it goes through, but that's where that water goes. I mean, that's where, you're not gonna run it down the other side of the road
No.
fluently. It's gonna pond and cause
Oh,
problems.
you have no, vo-
That it does, it floods up, my neighbor across the street floods up his basement. He is out there day in and day out.
Which one's-
Keeping that trench
which
there.
one is that one?
Harvey Latender, the little blue cape, kind of right in front of my house.
I've seen him digging that in the winter.
He's digging that trench because if he doesn't, it floods his basement. So he's helping to flood my field. But I understand his situation too, and that's where I would, you know,
My-
okay, well, I'd love to just put
My
a
one
inflatable balloon in that pipe, but, you know.
my one concern with long runs of culvert is
They get plugged up.
yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
right.
So my suggestion would have been before this was to make a wide enough crossing that suits you, or 2 or 3 crossings, but break it up. Because you get something clogged 175 feet into that,
Oh, I've done it.
you don't get it undone. Even for the town, I really try not to run more than 80 feet of pipe because you can't get it unstuck if something rolls into it. So, you know, to
We
me,
just have
to me, a
to
nice
have
drainage swale, maybe some stone with 2 or 3 20-foot crossings, maybe would be A, cheaper, and B, easier to manage in the future, but.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, maybe just dig a ditch line across there and fill it in with some crushed rock.
You know,
And
you
then
gotta
you wouldn't
make a
have to worry
gradual
about
swale
stuff
so
getting
animals
plugged
can
up.
cross and stuff,
Right,
but,
yeah, I mean, we have
but-
animals and, you know.
If the slope is acceptable and, you know, can be maintained and mowed, I just don't wanna have a.
yeah, and if you put rock in it, mowing would be hard, but I guess if you got critters, they'll mow it for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a field and water runs into it, and I've had to go clean the sand up. It's a pain, believe me. I live on the outlet of Perkins Pond, and that whole dam washed over once, and what a mess it made, so. I understand, I just don't know what to say without, not much I can do about it, other than, and I didn't create the problem, and I don't know, I wanna work with you guys.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know
I
what.
would say a swale would be the,
And there's an old swale there, just is not, nobody's kept up with it for 50 years.
yeah.
And there's pipes further down along the street that, you know, when it's pouring rain and it's flooding my field, those pipes are dry. So that doesn't make sense.
Unless they're-
2 or 3 cross culverts as you go down along. It stops there because the ditch line gets very narrow. We actually have had to clean that with a hand shovel because our backhoe and excavator bucket don't fit in.
Yeah, 'cause they're right close to it. I mean, the ditch is right here, edge of the road. Yeah,
I'm sure you've done it.
yeah, they're paying
It
to
stops
clean.
right at Warren Trask driveway and goes under into their field, and then it picks up again and goes down. There's a couple driveway culverts and it crosses again. And the more you shorten up water, the run of water, the less inertia it gets, less damage it does, you know. You run water down 3 miles of road, you're gonna have an awful
Well,
lot of trouble, you know.
You can't go down the side of Quaker Street because you have no place to dump it at 114.
You're not gonna outlet that underneath Warren's driveway, it's too
No.
deep there. What's gonna do is gonna build up and go.
Yeah, so that's
Some of it
really
dumps.
not.
Talking about their drainage ditch is probably the best idea. What you wanna do is up to you guys and them.
But, you know, I've been in town my whole life, and I used to spend quite a lot of time with a family there, friends up on Quaker Street. That whole area, that lower part of that field, and all behind the houses that are below them, that was been a natural wet run for years. I mean, even in the summertime, it's spongy, you can walk out across there.
Yeah, I don't know, I haven't been here that long, so I don't know that, but.
Because Joe Brennan owned that property, and I used to go over there a lot, and we used to go walk through there, and in the
No, I
dead of
couldn't
summer,
find it.
It was wet.
it was wet. I mean, it was, you know, you'd have, your feet would be wet, you know, so I think it's a natural run too, which makes it even worse.
Well, the biggest thing is we end up in a quandary because we're not supposed to be doing work on private property and using town money to do that.
Well,
And that's specific by statute.
That's
so,
understandable, but it's also up to the town not to
well,
do harm to the property when they
Well, I
know
mean,
it's
there's
harming the
something
property.
that's- this
There's
is-
some things that can be done. I mean,
probably
you know,
out in our right of way, yeah, but to go out on your property, we can't do it. That's up to you to
you can do
relieve
whatever
that.
you can do on the right of way. I mean, on
Our
the right of way,
right-of-way.
yeah, go down that ditch. But we're thinking if it makes it easier,
No, we can't
because
do
it
that
naturally
either.
is going that way, then, you know, swales, if you think it's a swale or a pipe or whatever, it's just, it shouldn't be on us to foot the cost of that. That's not our natural spring water. That's being forced onto our property from across the street. That's just not right. I don't care how long it's been done for. You know, you used to be able to do a lot of things you can't do anymore. It's just,
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that's been around for quite a while. We're not supposed to work on private property. That's
That
that's
doesn't
the law,
matter, though.
I mean, and to take taxpayer money to go do that, we're opening ourselves up to. some
can't
real
burn
issues.
trash, you can't dump your waste oil. I mean, there's stuff that you just shouldn't be doing anymore. And rather than just having somebody buy a property, a farm property, and then telling them, deal with it, that's how it was done years ago. I don't think that's the right way to deal with
I
it.
mean, some of that also goes back to, you know, the fact that they're supposed to have open disclosure when you buy property and you buy houses and stuff, and it doesn't sound like they gave you the full
Open
disclosure.
disclosure, there wasn't an easement for drainage on the property.
They didn't tell you that it floods, and I know from living on that road before you got there
It's
that it
flooding
floods.
because there's water
It-
being
it-
piped onto
It
it.
floods
We have
all year
some other
round.
puddly spots, nothing like this.
I live up the hill, and I've got a ditch that's turned my yard, my side yard, into a swamp. And I mean, that's because of the rain, most of it, and it won't dry out till August. So I can't mow. It looks more like a wheat field out there now. So I mean, I know what you're going through, but you know,
But
the
obviously,
thing
this is
nobody.
farmland, this is agricultural land. This was land for animals, there's orchards here. It was,
And
these
the-
couldn't have grown if this was always this condition. They couldn't have had it.
That's been wet. I've lived in town my whole life. Like I said, I used to be friends with the people that lived just down the hill from you. And as kids, we used to play across the street below the edge of your field. It
Maybe
was wet
damp, but
back
it wasn't
then.
wetland. I can guarantee you it wasn't wetland.
Oh, it was
It's-
wet.
It's wetland now.
It's been wet. It's always been wet. But I'm not saying that this isn't adding to your problem.
No, it,
I mean,
it
the
adds to
trenches
it.
that are there are not working. I mean, obviously, they worked at some point, and they're not working now.
The only-
And to just throw your hands up is just
Well,
not
the
right.
only thing that, you know, we're bound by certain laws, and I mean, the thing
I
is
can
that.
understand that.
And
I
the
can
thing is that the best that you can do is have the road agent try and ditch as best as he can along to have it run along the edge of the road and down away from that. But other than that, to go out on, to have taxpayer money to go out on your property and relieve that, we're not allowed to do that. And that's the problem. I mean, it's.
Dig
Or,
a ditch and dig
either
a
that,
ditch.
you know, the other option is, you know, you can put a swale in on your own property and put stone in it, or just keep cleaning it out periodically. I mean, that's,
What,
We
Benji,
we
what
have
would it
some of
take?
our own water issues or whatever, we have no problem with dealing with that, with our natural water issues where there's spring fed or there's water, of course is, but this is different. This is a different situation than that.
Like I said, I think the best relief for us is,
Cutting a trench in the field this
yeah,
big.
well, I've come up and you see what it's cut into my yard. I know. I mean, it runs off the road and there's not much of a ditch up there. And I've had to go out there and rent a piece of equipment and dig the ditch out, and make a ditch all the way down to the back, and it doesn't drain. So I know what you're saying, but the thing of it is we're bound by certain things, and
Getting the salt runoff, it kills the grass. I mean,
well, everybody gets that. Everybody gets the salt runoff.
we'll go for a ride.
Benji, can you go up there and
My neighbor's
run a
ducks
swale
are hanging out in my yard.
in our right of way,
'Cause
the best of your ability?
Because it goes to that culvert and then it stops.
Right.
Can
On
you
the
go-
other side. Yeah.
How about down,
That's our culvert, am I correct?
how about,
Yes.
how about down along the between the edge of the road and their
The
property?
land's lower than the stone wall, it's gonna reach to the stone wall anyway.
Yep.
So your best bet is to have a swale to define it, because that's kind of what's happening now, is the swales, filled up or whatever, so the sheet drains, what's happening.
Yeah, it
instead
just
of
runs right through it.
concentrate. If it concentrates and runs off, then it probably will lessen it drastically. It's filling up and it's sheet draining, giving
Yep.
up.
Is that something we can work on?
How about-
Are the swales on the other side?
Well, swales on the other side really isn't
Well,
than they have on their side.
right, and their side as well. I want to do what the town can do
Yep.
by RSA to assist in
Stone
this.
wall's about this far from our culvert,
Right,
and that's it, and then it goes onto their property.
right.
There's no room to do any other,
Not with that culvert,
But how about,
not the exit of the culvert.
And there's like culverts on both sides of the road.
how about like ditching
was
between
supposed to allow for
theirs,
that
down
water to
that
flow
side,
down.
further down the road, to ditch it so it runs
Try and
down.
keep some of it on the trash side.
It's not, the way the land is, it's not gonna work, it's gonna shoot
Wash the
through
road.
their wall, and they're still gonna have the same problem.
Can you pick the water up on this side of the street?
You understand what he's
Can
saying?
you slow the water down on the other side of the street by
Right.
doing something? Before it gets
It's some
across?
hard, you only got probably foot and a half, maybe at the most.
2
I
feet,
mean, it had
yeah.
to have worked at one point to have those.
No, I think it's always gone in this location across the property. I mean, you would have to cut all the trees along that side of the property, right? You'd have to remove their stone wall, and you'd have to they'd
that
have
would
to
be-
create it. It's a lot of work. It's probably more
The
work.
stone wall isn't gonna happen.
No, and that's
No.
hard to do, and then you're excavating on their property.
That swale must have, reason I use that always happen, must have, somebody put it there because they had that problem a long time ago. And you can see a little stone crossing where somebody used for something. It's just kind of all dilapidated and growing in, and probably people before them didn't maintain it. Well, I'm happy to help, whatever you guys want me to do, I don't care.
I mean, most
think
likely
if they
they-
do it, they'd be much better off not to have 250 continuous.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
would
you
have
want
2 or
pipe.
3 crossings 20 feet wide and then have to do all these ditching between myself.
Almost stagger them.
And I don't
Yeah.
even know about the stone. The stone's great erosion control, but it's miserable to mow.
Well, then how can the town share in the cost of that? If you can't do what you can on your side because of conditions on that side, then I would certainly think you could help us with the cost on our side if we have
If
to
they
do it.
donated the- If they donated the pipe, could you get someone to dig you a swale?
Sure.
Yeah,
That's up to-
probably.
that's up to these
That's
guys.
full-size
Probably
excavator
shot
and.
my mouth off,
I mean, how many gallons of water do you think we're talking on a
10 million.
10 million?
It's,
That's an approximate
lot.
number.
It's obviously like
but you did realize how wet
anywhere,
it
you
is.
know, it's during the high flow of the season.
15-inch culvert is filled to the top and it is flowing out.
Okay.
Down for us. The road's
How
crumbling.
much is a 15-inch culvert per foot, Benji?
About $140 a 20-foot stick.
For a 20-foot stick, it's,
150 bucks.
About 100 foot, Jesus, I hate to say numbers out. I just bought.
Roughly.
It's
Rough.
$10.80 a foot.
About 1080?
Yeah,
Okay,
So 10
$200.
I just called them today.
So for a 20-foot
I just
stick,
bought a trailer load, I don't know that
it's for a 20-foot stick, it's about 200 bucks. So you're looking at, if you wanted to put pipe in there, 20.
But again, I'd split it up for maintenance issues.
Put two pieces in and then put the swale in between.
Three.
Give us a couple crossings, see how.
Yeah, can do 2 crossings.
Yeah, I know.
The erosion stone's gonna be double-edged sword, it's gonna help it
Put it,
eroding, but it's
2
gonna be
feet at the
more
bottom.
maintenance in the future. I hate putting erosion stone in like dirt roads, cause it's a bear to maintain.
Yeah, we had thought about putting maybe at the bottom of the swale, so the alternative pipe is to put maybe the bottom of the 18-inch swale is 2 feet wide and slope is maybe for 4 feet, put like 2-inch minus, just so when the horses and the livestock trample in the ditch, they're not gonna leave these big
No.
hoof. So
Mhm.
that's probably,
Breaking legs.
10, 20 cubic yards of 2-inch minus.
And if the person doing the excavating were to use the material and just kinda slope it on your property, it's probably loam you probably grow. I don't think you'd have to have a lot of trucking done. I don't see why that.
Yeah, no,
no,
I-
they can cast it and push it around the door.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, we figured a dozer, excavator for a day, and then a dozer just to spread it. That was about 2,500.
Guys, you get a good excavator operator, you ought to be able to do it all in one rip.
There's some
Find one.
rocks in the path there that,
You get an excavator with a blade on it, you just keep pushing the rocks and finally they end up down the wood somewhere. You swale, swept
And that's
out.
up to you guys, first of all, if you don't need
Right.
too much for it, I guess.
I'm not gonna say off the table, but what I am gonna say is I think we need to contact our legal side just to verify what we can and cannot do. Because like I said, I for one want to help you guys out. Obviously, like you said, it's you've made a valid argument as far as I'm concerned. But again, if our hands are tied to a certain extent, then our hands are tied. But like I said, if we can assist in any legal way possible,
Yeah.
I'm for at least
especially if you
helping.
can't do it on your side. If you don't have the room to do it on your side, then,
Right.
if
Exactly.
that's the only option.
Exactly, and that'll be conveyed when we speak that, because like you said, it's not like there's a really much of an alternative at all, so. Yeah, so, is that something you can contact either Bill or Laura on?
I would contact Laura.
Okay. All right,
Okay, but, so in the meantime, though, what do you wanna do?
as
Leave
far
it
as,
alone?
unfortunately, right now, status quo.
Dry season comes someday.
Yeah, hopefully summer comes someday. But at this point, I think our hands are, we're static for now. But you've brought it forward, now we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
So, all right, yep, thank you guys.
Any other questions for me, guys?
I did, but I don't remember what.
Next Monday if I can.
Well, there's no meeting next
No
Monday.
meeting next
No,
Monday.
the next meeting.
The next meeting,
He's
right.
deep sea fishing.
How's the tractor running?
It was running good.
Oh, don't
We
say
had,
that.
no, we had a little leak on the steering cylinder, no big deal. He mowed, Pine Hill Road, I guess. He was out a couple days, and I ain't had a lot of time to put him in it, but. Yeah, we found knives for it, went through Friday morning, they readjusted a guard that someone had fabricated, it weren't mowing very good, just readjusted it, and put new cotter pins in all the knives. and He bought a radio out of his own pocket and put in it.
Who's running it?
Lee from the state.
Lee from the state.
Yeah, from the state. He did, jeez.
Lee
He
Weather,
does an
yeah.
unbelievable job on it. Now we got it, I told him, I said, I don't care how long it takes you to do a road. Just get it done right.
Let's get it done right.
Right.
And push it back hard for now.
Yeah, and he did real good with it. So he only had a day and a half in it, two 3/4 days, whatever, however you want to look at it. And like I said, the steering cylinder started weeping a little bit, but other than that, it's been going pretty good.
Weeping's okay, leaking's not good.
Right.
Yeah. I know that.
Expected to have a couple little bugs, but
Right. 10-wheeler?
should be in the end of this month, the middle of this month.
The chassis,
Yeah.
and then it goes right
And
to
I have
Tenco.
I have a build date for October 1st, which was what the last one was. So
Okay.
I got that the day after you guys awarded the bid. So.
Okay.
We'll see paver sometime here soon.
Anything on the roof situation at your place?
Well, they said they come fixed it, and
They did, or they were going to?
They did.
Oh,
I weren't there.
okay, so they
Come
supposed,
in on a Monday, and luckily the gate was unlocked. So,
okay,
I haven't seen it leaking.
okay. But they supposedly came down and fixed it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Questions?
You'll know
Any
that-
bills?
You'll know
I
when
heard
it
the
rains
vote.
again.
Huh?
You'll know when it rains again.
Yeah, it was more like snow melt off, something, a lot of moisture, you know? Very seldom did it leak when it was raining. It really had to
I
pound.
think
rain.
the moisture, the snow held the moisture.
Yeah, because it stayed on
Rain's
so
just
much.
gonna run it off.
Right.
Right.
No bill questions? I heard T4 come up there. We had multiple issues on that.
Yeah,
to fix.
obviously, 3 pages worth, huh?
Yeah.
I read it all the way through.
Yeah.
Hey, it is what it is.
You know, unfortunately, there's really no way in the game for Volvo anymore.
Right.
There's the dealer, and you're gonna pay out the nose. And if there's one or two, you know, aftermarket guys that want to work on it, then you lock them down. I mean, there's software, there's parts, there's parts availability. It's
Parts was the big cost to it.
Yeah.
Well, that one, and
I didn't
Tom,
even see the bill.
as soon as Tom came, he did a wire and harness and T8 goes right into the valve cover, and that's where the oil leak was coming from. And there's 100 pairs of wires, all the exact same color, that you got to stand on your head in the doghouse and do. He was
Yeah.
a couple weeks doing it, so we have plenty of stuff for him to do. I said, they can do that. And there was 100 other things they need to do while they're in there, so I said, you can do that.
Yeah.
So
So how far in the rotation is that one?
a couple, 3 more years if we get our truck every year.
You know, the one question that came up in the payables while you're here was the excavator.
Yeah, it was a mini.
You rented the Mini for,
We did, you backtrack and think what we did with it. We did some under the guardrail clean over on Woodbury Road, and I had some, I was gonna do the sidewalk over the library, but the pavers couldn't come to town. And I did a couple other small jobs. It was just, for one, my big excavator was working. And for two, that was just handier to do under some guardrails and do some stuff like that. It's about $75 a day cheaper than any other one you're ever gonna find that size, so. They're about $425 a day, and I think you're gonna to me for $350, so. I plan on renting a excavator our size here coming up too, working both of them, because I have 2 jobs gonna be going on same time. So. Nothing any different than any other year, I guess. We always rented equipment. Because it's handy, you know, we'll be over on Lowell Road, there's 10 people over there that can take fill, so he only needs 2 trucks and a flagger. And they can work over in Wallingford Terrace, and there's people over there that'll take fill, so I only need 2 trucks and a flagger. So you're on 2 crews with a short number of people. We don't have to truck it all the way back. We got waivers that they sign. All kinds of people up there by Lowell Road that'll take fill, so I'm gonna run both excavators, try to get the pavers in. It's already coming up on July, and we haven't done it yet, 'cause everybody's busy, so.
Plus the rain hasn't been helping much.
Now, the rain hasn't helped, and that's why everybody's busy, because everybody's pushed. Not only did it start raining last August, so everybody's busy from last August, September, October's work catching up in 2019, but now it's rained all of 2019, so they're behind on that, so. I want to be ready when they say they can come work for me, so.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to push them off.
So, a little bit of equipment rental ain't too much cost, so.
Question, when you took down the old gazebo, I know the town electrician made an inquiry as to what happened to some of the electrical stuff that was left in there, the lights, the recessed fixtures, you know, what
I
happened
have
to them?
no
Because
idea. When I was told to go tear it down, I was told it was ready to tear down. I demoed it all.
some of that stuff he was looking to reuse and it was disappeared, so.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know if it went in the crusher then?
No, when I tore it down, I didn't even look.
I mean, I was there that day, I saw wiring and stuff.
But
Yeah,
there was
I
some,
was there part of
there
the
was
day, too.
boxes and some other stuff, he said.
I
There
didn't even
was parts for the fixtures in there.
LED kits, he
I
said.
LED
smudged it,
kids.
I know the
So-
wind was blowing like hell and blew stuff everywhere. when
Because
I-
he wanted to reuse some of that and it disappeared, so.
I don't-
Supposedly it was taken out, but he didn't.
I know before I tore it down, I said everything must be ready. I don't want to be responsible for any demoing of anything ain't supposed to be demoed. There was a plaque and everything else.
Yep.
Speaking of which, them 1x6 hemlock cross bracings are still at my shop. Them still wanted, or can I throw them in the burn pile?
Are they good?
Those are the ones that the
It's hemlock 1x6,
The-
gonna twist as soon as it's in the sun. so-
Historic Society put up there?
Yeah.
I should have asked. I thought they were Helene's, but I didn't
Yeah,
think of it
they
till just now.
bought, they got
till you
them, I
asked me.
know.
I mean, they took most of them, I
I
think.
can call her and ask. I want to clean up, because they're gonna pave around my highway garage in front of my doors, and they're in the way.
Oh, get rid of them. Don't worry if there's only a couple of them. My
They're
God.
hemlock, they're gonna twist as soon as the sun hits them.
If they haven't already.
Yeah, they took most of that stuff and got it, so I wouldn't worry about it.
My crusher's here, we've been mowing, pavers are coming. What else?
You're busy.
And you're going fishing.
I hope so.
When? Where are you going out of?
Camped out of Eastman's.
Eastman's?
I rented
Good,
a
I'll-
six-pack there.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'll make sure that they,
My sister and brother-in-law never been out on the
I'll
ocean.
let you, I'll make sure they don't open the bridge. You can stay out to sea for a couple days.
No, I'm gonna be on the boat. See you guys later.
All right.
Yeah.
See you, Benji. The first bill's heavy. The first bill's real heavy on the labor. The second one's about right. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, again, it does boil back to, you know, what he said. It's, nobody wants to work on these things. I mean, Volvos are getting to be, you know, a dealer-only item. That's one you want to look at?
No, I had to look at the whole stack
Oh,
again.
okay. So, but I think the first bill's a little hefty on the labor. But the second one's pretty spot on, so. And again, I don't know what they ran into, but the description's pretty fair, so. I know I don't want to do it, that's for sure. There's a reason why I work on Cummins and Kenworth. All right,
Minutes, you get 2 sets out of the,
yep,
I
Yeah,
looked
the two.
earlier today and I didn't see them online, so I,
no, they should have been in your email if you
yeah,
signed up.
we got them in email.
what's
Not-
that?
If you signed up for the e-subscribe, everybody would
Yeah,
have.
yeah,
Okay, well, I'd like to push off
And then they were, yeah.
the
and
May
then they were-
20th ones. I don't mind. I've
The
read-
one-pager,
Yeah,
Yep. All right, 520? Page one?
529.
No, the 529? Okay,
Yeah.
529, yep. Anything on page one?
it's only
It's only
page.
one.
I know it's on one page.
Yep.
Move to approve as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have manifest, do you have the manifest?
I do have it,
Okay,
lots of it.
large one.
I know, and it's a mouthful. Okay. All right, move to order treasurer sign payroll accounts payables checks dated June 20th, 2019, as included in the following manifest. Payroll manifest, $62,979.89 for weekly and quarterly payroll. Accounts payable of $107,523.53. A Weare School District payable manifest of $938,130 for a total of $1,108,633.42. The following manifests were,
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
Simma, I got a whole page over here to read.
Well,
The following manifests were previously ordered to sign at June 3rd meeting of the Weare Board of Selectmen. Payroll manifest of $338.13 for weekly payroll checks dated 6/13. Accounts payable manifest of $33,898.39 for checks dated 6/13. And a fire department accounts payable manifest of $20,872.54 pre-approved by the Board of Fire Wards. As there is no meeting scheduled for Monday, June 24th. Further, order treasurer to sign payroll checks dated June 27th, estimated to be about $65,000. Furthermore, to order treasurer to sign up to the amount of $70,000 for accounts payables, including fire department accounts payable, approved by the Board of Fire Wards that cannot wait until the next scheduled meeting of July 1st. Reports and actual check amounts will be reported to the Board of Selectmen by inclusion on the manifest memo at the next scheduled meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Good.
All right, well, you approved, I believe, part of your manifest was the re-roof check for Century.
Yes.
Okay, so you need to authorize to take it out of,
The capital reserve.
that's all been done.
Yep, at the town, at the safety
The
complex.
safety complex. has
In
been
and out
done.
rather quickly. I think they did an amazing job. I
They
think the
did, it looks
the
nice.
color looks really good.
Yep,
Thank you.
Better than I thought.
Yeah, it really does blend very well.
yeah.
So,
It's hard when you look at small sample.
yeah,
You still have to make a motion to take that out of there.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Make the motion, yeah. I signed it, though.
Yeah. The motion was to take $58,000 from the capital reserve, government building maintenance fund, for the re-roofing of the safety complex. That was the motion officially.
Okay, let's try to go. There's paperwork, might as well we should make our announcement,
Love to.
because then you have paperwork that has to go to police standards and training signed
Yes.
by you.
Yes.
So, I don't know if you just want to make the announcement.
Yep. The town of Weare has been in a police chief search now for a good number of months. Couple.
Probably since, April.
April. And we have selected a candidate from Richmond, Virginia. His name is Christopher Moore. He grew up in Virginia. Now he's retiring from, after
Yeah,
23 years,
yeah.
with Norfolk, Virginia Police Department. He comes to us with his family, and he will be sworn in Wednesday, the 19th, here, first thing in the morning,
Yeah,
9 o'clock, right?
yep,
9 o'clock. And then we will be holding a public swearing in
Friday night.
at the gazebo at 6 o'clock. We're going to have Mr. Miller cancel the rides for 5 minutes or so and shut down all the horns and the beep beeps and the generator, and so we can actually be heard. And he will be in the parade, and he will be there for the patriotic celebration. So we urge everybody to come down, shake hands, and meet him. He's quite a guy.
We have to make a motion to hire him, though.
We do?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
We gotta
All
get
right.
his salary,
And that,
$92,750.
entertain a motion?
Make a motion that we hire Christopher Moore as our new police chief, effective the 19th, with a starting salary of $92,750.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
And
Welcome
then,
aboard.
with that being said, I'll take that back.
Yep.
That's gonna go to press release.
Yep.
With that being said, you have to make a motion, that's the, retirement paperwork.
Oh,
No,
yes.
it's
Police standards
police
and
standards to
training.
make him a
Police standards
full-time officer, yeah.
And it looks to be only one signature.
Right.
I'll make a motion that we allow the chairman to sign the necessary paperwork, Form A, for the
There's an I in there, too.
NNI.
I don't know, there's a couple of forms in there.
Yeah, for our new police chief to go forward to the Police Standards and Training Council and to the state of New Hampshire Retirement Board.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Yeah,
Naomi,
I
did, I just have a question on the article.
Yep.
It's perfect. I mean, the way it's all written and everything. Did you run it by him?
He wrote
Chris,
it. I just transferred it.
Okay, okay,
You
I
better.
just gave it away.
all right.
He wrote his own bio, and I just put his picture in it.
There you go.
Even better.
But he knows that's going in the paper.
Yeah, we've already been in
Okay,
contact.
all right.
Yeah, it's
I will
actually,
tell you after why
it's
I
at-
had reservations.
Well, I'll tell you, it's already been up on Facebook.
Yeah, it's already in the Where in the
Yeah.
World.
It's been up there for an hour when I asked
Okay.
that we make the motion first. So, that didn't happen, so directions were followed well.
No, I didn't mean to imply that.
Actually, then, there is one more, Ricky, that I was given by the police department for a traffic alert, and would you read that into
I
the
can do that.
minutes?
Actually, Mr. Vice Chairman, why don't you read that?
Oh, yeah.
While I'm over here busy.
Following
Say-
is an announcement from the Weare Police Department. It's a traffic alert for Saturday, June 22nd, 2019. It's regarding traffic delays on Route 114. The Weare Police announced a potential for significant traffic delays on June 22nd from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on Route 114 between Reservoir Drive and Duck Pond Road. The road will be closed for the Weare Patriotic Parade. The parade kicks off at 10:30 a.m. from George Moody Road. Parade participants will travel from George Moody Road to the Centerwoods Elementary School. Motorists are kindly asked to seek alternative routes during the parade.
Thank you.
I think good notification's been given everywhere. That's been good.
There's a vegetation management tree removal request form from Eversource that they have asked that we sign. They have flagged some trees down towards Bolton Field on the roadway that they need to remove. And in order for us to, they need permission from us to do that. Again, there's only one signature involved.
Is that town property?
Yep.
I'll make a motion that we allow the chairman of the Board of Selectmen to sign for the vegetation management tree removal request form for Eversource for trees to be removed along the road into Bolton Field.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Guess I'll do one more before we get into the fun part.
No.
There, if you've gone down to East Road and on the right-hand side, I think that's Center Square. Or
Cemetery?
Center Road, something like that,
Center
Center.
Square
Okay,
Cemetery?
there's a large tree that, during one of the last windstorms has gone into the cemetery. It didn't damage the headstones, but it is need to be required to be picked up and out of there. It's a big, I think it's a pine. So there's two, the cemetery trustees handed me two, one's not in an envelope and one is in an envelope, two bids for the removal of that project. I don't know if somebody wants to open them.
You want me to do it?
Sure.
One that's unopened is from Big Dog Landscaping Services, LLC. And that is for a total of $500 to cut up and remove that tree. The other one is from EHF Tree Services from Deering. And it's clean up and remove the down pine tree in the cemetery on East Road. And that came in as an estimate of $400.
What was the difference? What was it again?
$100.
$100 difference, 500 for
one.
Big Dog and
And this guy's got a log truck, the second
yeah,
guy's got a log
he's
truck, which you're
gonna,
gonna need.
1-ton chipper, tractor, and log
Tree?
truck.
Yeah, it's a big,
Big,
huge
it's a
pine.
big old pine.
Well, I can personally speak for the
Yeah.
EHF.
Yeah.
Very good work. Very, very good work.
And I think we were asked more or less to award the bid only because
Right.
one of the bidders is a trustee.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you want to make the award, I'll call Bill.
Yep.
Yeah, you'd have to have a log truck to get it out of there. You'd have to chunk it up pretty damn small to, because things like this big tree. Or have a bonfire on site, one or the other.
You gonna be all right?
Gonna be able to get a log truck in there?
No.
Be tough to get a log
We
truck
did well.
in there.
Might be able to go all the, straight in, all the way down, and then back in.
I think that's,
It's the only way you do it.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we hire EHF Tree Services to remove the tree in Center Square Cemetery for a price of $400.
Second?
Does that come from the cemetery fund?
Yeah, I just think they want us to make the motion.
Okay,
Just because of the conflict that somebody might arise.
okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstention?
Why, have you got a lot down there or something?
No. Yeah, it fell on my plot, no. And there's
Did you
that
have that one done too?
one, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so, before I get into my report, I don't know that I've said much to any of you. The bond bank, I have all the paperwork here. We went with the bond bank, which I know there was hesitation by some. But the rate came back at 1.62.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
There's a catch, though. I don't want to say it's a
Uh-oh.
catch. If anybody knows much about bonding, we borrowed 2.5 million, but it just said that the investors in today's market want a coupon rate protection and are willing to pay a premium in exchange for higher coupon rates on the bonds. The total of premium allotted to the town of Weare was $385,500. The town will be receiving $2.5 million in proceeds. However, the town only needs to pay back $2,114,500. I've attached the total debt to show what the payback would be at 2.5 as well as the 2.114. So you have a true interest cost of 1.62. What you're going to see on the one after the premium that starts with a balance of 2.1145, the rate's 5.1. But then if you look at the true second sheet, which I'll pass this around, with a whole 2.5, the interest shows 1.62, and you're pretty close to the payment schedules.
Good beer.
So with that being said, there's that, and then they just handed around this here, that's the 5-year ended up at 1.49, 10-year 1.62, 15-year 2.13, 20-year 2.6, 25-year 2.7, and there were 7 communities funding $9,710,000 in bonds
Wow.
to fund school additions and renovations, utility improvements, vehicle purchases, road improvements, and to purchase conservation land. So their next round is June 8th of 2020. If you have any questions, we can call them. So I have 4 copies, if I can follow the instructions correctly. That's tough at my point. This here is one signature on the bond. There's only one of these, so I didn't staple anything together. There's only one.
Me either.
I don't understand.
I don't understand that premium. I
I don't either, but I gave you what she gave me.
So in other
So
words,
you're
if
gonna
you-
get $2.5 million put into your account.
If you
Right.
take less, the interest is high. If you take what we,
Well, if you look at the sheets.
that's what it
though.
looks at.
No, it says that we only need to pay back 2,000,000.
Right, because they offered you a premium.
Yep.
So in the next 2 sheets,
Yeah,
you're gonna see it borrowed at 2.1145. Okay, at the starting, or are you looking at the 2.5?
This is 2.5 total.
Okay, so then you look at it down through.
With the premium.
Okay, so you're starting on the left-hand side of what, 2,114,000?
Yep.
Okay, so that's with the premium already applied.
Okay.
So you're actually got, is it 5.1?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then when you flip to the next sheet, when you actually, if you ever had to pay back the whole 2.5, it's 1.62. It's something to do with the premium. I printed that off because I don't understand the whole premium part. But everybody got some sort of premium.
Right.
Is there-
They pay that up front, is what happens.
Yeah. The investors or
The
whatever.
investor, yes, pays that,
so what are we
Comes off.
actually paying?
1.62 is a net,
yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So that's what we're
Yeah.
paying.
So between that and the highway garage, we're less than 3.5
Wow.
between the 2 projects.
That's
I think
good.
it's
That's
unbelievable.
excellent,
Yeah,
It's
it's,
excellent.
yeah, that's unbelievable.
Because the
one's-
going rate we had was 3.5 from
Does
3.
anyone else want to
TD.
do this?
This one's good. Look at the signatures for everybody.
Everybody signs just one of
Just wanna
those,
make
but
sure
John,
that
would you
I'm
flip
right.
them over and keep them as I send them down? So that's the bond. So the bond is indicated everybody has to sign that, but Tina's gonna sign it, so I'll need to have them all back. But only sign one for the bond. And then there's a signature and no litigation certificate with a receipt. I need 4 of these. And then there's a no arbitrage, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Arbitrage?
Arbitrage.
Arbitrage and tax certificate. I need 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep passing.
This looks official.
Put them there.
Yeah, John's just gonna flip them over.
He's a nice guy.
And then the IRS form, I believe
I'm not
there's only
signing that.
one signature. Yeah.
That could be
So on the
Ricky.
IRS form, you
Thanks.
need 4 of them, but there's only, you can do one of 2 things. Remember this. So you can have the governing body or the issuer's treasurer sign it. What do you want to do? While you sign it, this is the government form. I need 4 of them.
I don't know, we're all here, so do what you
All
want.
the gang's all
I'm
here.
just saying, there's only
What's the
one
board want to do?
location.
I would just have the treasurer sign it. Because she's,
Yeah, would you
Fine with
just, would you just make that motion so I can have it? She signed the IRS form 8038G?
yep, so moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 I'll write this crap up, then.
Two more.
Okay.
I think there was only one of one in
I
there.
don't want to finish that, I think.
No, I'm with you. Oh, I didn't see that.
Jesus.
And if you just notice it, I don't know if you guys have paid attention, other than the closing date is July 10th, so everything has a July 10th date on it. It's already pre-printed in some spots. So, all right, so you asked me, you gave me that, you gave me that. You get this. I'll take the rest of it when you're done. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
So it was a gamble, but it paid off in the long run.
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Very well.
yeah, I like that. That's
Flipping the
really
coin
great.
on that one. I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Vegas.
Yeah, that's great for the
I've done
town.
it twice now.
Level,
so-
yeah.
Played the game twice now, so, yeah.
We lucked out both times.
Yes, we
We
did.
did.
Better this time, I think.
Yeah, because if you look at the overall total interest,
That one's first.
over 10 years is like 200,000.
That's unbelievable, yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes, I mean, in years past, the bond banks, you know, and when we did the DPW garage, it wasn't that good either.
No.
And she actually encouraged us to go with the bank and pull the trigger on that, so.
Well, like I told you, it's whether the banks want paper or not,
Yeah.
and they obviously don't need it.
Somebody
'Cause-
needed it.
Yeah, well, investors do right now because they're doing well, so they want
Right.
this type of
All
municipal
right,
government
so
paper.
we all set to move now?
I think so.
All right, let's do the building one first.
Oh, great.
So, one hasn't changed, that's the list of projects at the, the roof, because Walker's been gone. So I got information today that, from them, that they're supposed to arrive here with a new lift Wednesday/Thursday to resume work on the tower.
Good.
The rest of it I left alone. I don't know if it's fair weather or not, I don't.
Supposed to rain the rest till
Yeah.
Friday.
Tomorrow's
Okay,
supposed to
well.
be.
Showers the next 3 days.
Well, their
and then
intent today was Wednesday or Thursday.
Maybe.
The same thing, I haven't done much with the Gordon Brown Barns, the gazebo, as we know, talked about earlier, that was
Oh,
all
yeah.
done.
That I'd like to talk about for a minute.
All right, go ahead. Wally.
What?
The
The gazebo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've been over there, and I don't know who else has been over there, but
I
that thing is not very sturdy. You can take one of those posts, and you can push the building back and forth. You can actually see it rock, and that makes me a little concerned. We get any
Horseplay.
winds, horseplay over there, that thing could go over. Also, the railings behind the benches, they're real strong. I mean, and the kids have already been jumping up and down on them, so I don't know how long they'll last, and I'm afraid with that plastic, I know it's, that's gonna, vinyl, it's gonna come out of there. And I just want to express my concerns. There's a 30-year warranty on it, but I think that should be a little bit more rugged than it is, that, you can rack it back and forth.
Does anybody from Reed's Ferry, I'll say management, come out and check it over after it's been installed?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know, I'm just, or some kind of a foreman?
I mean, if you look at
Well,
it, it's,
that girl that was there, she was like in charge.
I looked at
Iron Dome.
I looked at the roof lines too, with the panels go up for the roof, and they put the pieces over it, like you would on the
cap.
hip, the
The
cap,
cap.
and they're not even straight. Some of them, they're like, wavy, they go up,
Right.
looks like
I
a
didn't go
snake.
over, that wasn't done when I was there.
That wasn't,
I wonder if we
Yeah.
can maybe get a a big, I'll say big rig.
Somebody, yeah.
somebody, but I mean, that should be,
Representative from Reed's Ferry to come and take a look
it
at
was
it.
brought up, I guess, by our new,
Yeah, Kyle had mentioned. that it
Kyle
was
said that,
wall-
we should brace it, and, but that's
it
not
looks
up to
good.
us, that's up to them. I mean, that's,
I mean, they have to stand by it.
They knew what they were getting into, so I think,
So
I
I
think they really
think,
oughta- I think
yeah.
they ought to send a supervisor or some kind of a.
and I still never got, the
Answer.
flooring's pretty solid, but I still never got an answer on what the snow load definitively was for that roof. And I mean, the way it is
Thought I
now,
read somewhere on something that was 40.
all I got
square
is,
foot or
all I got
something.
is the warranty, but it doesn't really say, so.
I kept that too.
Yes, I
So it's
have it
like,
too.
I'd like to see something on that. 'cause
Right.
I don't wanna see the first severe, heavy wet
Because
snow
the
ever
suggestion
come.
was that we do some bracing, but I don't think we should be
That's
doing
not
We
us.
shouldn't be
bracing.
doing
I don't think we should be
anything.
touching anything in there.
Nothing.
No, I
No.
wouldn't touch anything, because then you'll avoid the
If
warranty.
anything, they should be
Right.
doing the
The
bracing.
most that
Yeah.
we've done, like I said, is the electrical, and that's as far as we should be doing.
That's right. So I would like to get a representative
So,
back from Reed's Ferry.
I just wanted to bring that up, because I've been over there looking at it a couple times, and it's like,
And not just to call and blow us off. I want somebody to come actually put feet on the ground,
yep, definitely.
so.
The propane tank, I'm gonna meet him here tomorrow afternoon, to look at it, the guy from Irving, and then from there, I'll probably take his, kinda like his specs, and then send it out to a couple other places to see what we're up against there. You heard about the roof leak, Benji filled you in on that, I hadn't had a chance to talk with him. Bike rodeo is scheduled for Saturday, right after the parade. The other ones I haven't got anything new on. That's all I have for that one?
We're not leaving that yet.
All right, I didn't think so.
I'm a little out of order here, I guess. I did a lot of, I'll say, cleaning up of old papers that I had.
Yep.
And I just want to go back and, when we talked about going to our bi-weekly meetings, this is what I was talking about.
Okay.
I have an administrative report here from April 13th, 2015 in my hand. Okay?
2015?
2015.
Wow.
It's still there.
Review of policies and procedures, a noise ordinance that we still haven't decided on. That's still on our, it's on the next one,
Yep.
okay? That's 2015.
And we still get the cry out for a noise
I understand that, but
ordinance.
we haven't made a decision. That was
Sure.
my point, is here we are coming up on a solid 4.5 years, and we've done nothing with it. July 17th of 2017, Gordon Brown Buildings, paint or coat the roof. That was the first time that appeared. December 4th, gazebo's on there, Gordon Brown Buildings, and Clinton Grove underpinning. Again, I'm not, please, Sherry, please don't take that as a personal
That's
at
all right.
all.
I can go home.
I just want to say that this is
I know.
this is what I meant with letting these projects go is Not, you know, and the camera project at the safety complex, October 16th, 2017, that's when we first brought it up.
And I
We-
finally took it off this
And
week.
we just put that to bed, you know, I mean, this
Right.
is exactly what I meant when I was talking
mean,
about
but the
letting
thi-
stuff go, you know.
And you're right, but
And
the
I'm
thing
gonna-
is, we've been proactive with some of these, and we have gone around and around and around, and it's not for lack of trying, so I
Not for
mean,
lack of trying, but I just wanted to remind the
And,
board that where we're at with some of the stuff, it's still on
it's,
here.
and we were meeting every week during some of that time.
And
didn't
the
get
list of
anywhere.
town hall repairs was made May 4th, 2015.
I remember that
I
list.
have the list right here, that went down through. So, you know, again, and that's all just, again, the point I wanted to make is the fact that, you know, I know we haven't forgotten about it, but, I mean, how many weeks have we heard these same items if I have them back here?
Well,
you
I
know?
mean, we're whittling off some of the big ones. How long has the bell tower been on? That's since,
I know, and we practically had to beg them to come down and do it.
Right, and see,
So-
that's the struggle, and I've said this before, and I don't know what the answer is you can't find people that wanna work for us.
That's right. I mean, I
And
can't,
you see that struggle.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to beg to get someone to do the bell tower to get one one reply.
we had to beg somebody to come and do the doors on the front of the
We
tower.
had to, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know
I
what
threw
the
those away
answer
a long
is.
time ago.
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
what
saying-
the answer is,
Yeah,
you know, other than people don't wanna work here.
right.
I don't
Right.
know why. You know, I really don't know what the answer is, but, I mean,
Right.
I hear you.
maybe you should be a little more
I just,
friendly.
I just wanted to make it, you know, known to the board that where some of the stuff is outlined to when I was trying to make my point a few weeks ago, that, you know, and again, it's not for lack of effort on all accounts, but
Right.
we're still hashing out all this stuff week after week, quote unquote.
Oh, the other one that I want to bring up too is the town administrator's office ceiling and walls.
Yeah.
I mean, when Mary left last week, I was in her office and
The roof
her
probably looked
office
better.
has got yeah, right. And I know the conservation room, so I think we should, if we're going to have somebody up there,
I've asked to get quotes. Nobody wants to work here. I've even asked the one that did some painting for us. He's not doing it anymore.
right, that I know.
The gentleman that shovels our walkway is not interested in climbing a ladder anymore.
You don't blame them.
Right, I
you know?
don't either.
And everybody right now is so busy that they're not looking at some of the inside jobs.
Right.
And then if you find someone that's willing to do it, do they have insurance? That's the other part.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
they
the
can't
last.
have them falling off the ladder.
Right.
Right.
So that's where we struggle.
What does Primex say about that? Do they,
Is
are
there,
they, I mean,
About
obviously,
us not getting help?
no.
the insurance part?
The
You have to.
insurance part, I mean, if we had somebody that didn't have insurance and,
Could we
I mean,
carry a
we were leaving ourselves wide open. Matt.
No, you're
Is there
leaving yourself- you
anything that
can't.
they have that?
I'll tell you, you have to have insurance. They have to,
I
person
I don't know
contract,
that
unless
they'd
he's an
be
employee.
encouraging us to get someone on board that doesn't have insurance.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I don't think.
No, I'm just
I
saying,
don't
I
think they
understand
would.
they would do
Yeah.
that as
They'll
somebody.
tell you.
does.
They won't tell you
Because
you
even back
can.
when I worked here, we had, that was part
The
of
risk
the
management,
clause
the
to
risk you
have.
take to have somebody.
Yeah, that'd be a
buy them
huge risk,
forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
One slip off
Unless
the
they're an
ladder.
employee.
Now, let me ask you this, is there something that MRI publishes maybe? Or has a pool to pick from of
For painters?
anybody? Plumbers, electricians, painters,
No, it's mostly.
jack of all trades?
Call the union hall.
It's mostly for, like,
I mean, I didn't know
A
if
lot
they
of
had.
people do odd jobs, but when you come here, we require insurance, and a lot of people don't
Most
have
towns
insurance.
do.
They don't, we can't afford
And
it.
most towns do.
You know, we had a
require.
guy ready to do the barn.
Yep.
He got downright nasty with me when I told him I needed insurance, and he told me to throw the thing away,
Yeah.
because he couldn't afford the insurance.
And I even contacted somebody he worked for to see if they could put him on for the week or whatever.
And they
to
didn't wanna
it.
do that.
And they said that they couldn't do it. They contacted their insurance company and they wouldn't do it for a week. They had to put him
Somebody
on
who
probably for a
paints.
quarter of the year.
Yeah.
Insured?
I don't know.
What?
Okay, well,
You have to
find
get-
out.
You know,
Find out.
Former selectman's daughter. What the heck?
What's
What's her last name? I mean, what,
Who's the selectman?
Method? Is that it? No, not Method. Jeez.
Well, then we run into 3 quotes.
yeah, you
Well,
can't,
at that point, to me, that'd be an exact, and you're right, and I get
Yeah,
that, but,
I'm
but if,
just saying,
but if
we
we've
have a
only
lot
got,
of hurdles.
if we've only got one, then we only got one, and I think
Yeah.
that's been made pretty clear, is
Well,
like,
I'll be
is
honest
this-
with you, there's some people that come through the door that need assistance, that are looking for odd jobs to pay bills, but
Yeah.
they don't have insurance. They're willing to work off whatever assistance they can
you
have.
could do, you
But
could
I
do
can't do
community
that.
service,
can't-
but you can't put them up on a ladder or put them at some place. You'd be better off, here's a suggestion. You wanna get it fixed, you wanna do that, call the county call down to Hillsborough County, and they'll send some trustees up here to do it. And they will.
Yeah, they will.
The
that's
trustees
right.
will do it. They did it
Yeah.
in Merrimack County. The trustees from Hillsborough County painted and get up on staging and painted
thought
the
that-
inside of the
They also-
Hillsborough Highway
They did
Department.
something across the hall.
They also polished the floors of the safety
I thought
complex a few times.
that
Yeah.
whole program stopped.
No, they're still doing it.
Really?
If not, call the prison.
Well, that's
They
the one
sent-
that's-
Well, that's the one yeah.
The prison does it and the county does it, because county sent people to Hillsborough, the town of Hillsborough Highway Department, and got up on staging in an 80-foot-high building to turn around and do all the.
Maybe that's the place
If,
to.
even if we got to provide the staging and the planking or whatever.
That's all they provided. You provided the
To me, that's
equipment,
worth
and they'll
it.
do it. I
To me,
mean,
that's
so,
worth it.
Yeah.
Call corrections.
One thing that I did have somebody look at, which you all know, the painter that we've always used for years that
Yep.
did some at
Yep.
Clinton Grove,
Oh, yeah.
is the horsehair that might be behind it, is how to take
right
care
over
of
it.
it. Paint right over it.
Paint right over it, it was
Even
good.
though it's flaking off.
Well,
What-
with
on
horsehair,
Isn't there stuff up there, the
Yeah,
old
there's stuff up-
plaster?
You're right.
Mix,
Yeah,
mix
horse-
some glue in the paint.
but if it's a historic building, you have to find somebody to turn around and will take care of the horsehair plaster if you want to do it
He
right.
looked at it, because he was here the other day to talk to me, and I said, hey. He
Yeah.
said, no. And he just said, it's gonna be difficult to find someone that can do that.
Well, the other thing is, the liability is that you've got lead paint up there.
I know.
Yep, and that's the
So
other
they'd
issue.
paint over
Well,
it,
that's what I
fine. But what they
thought.
could do, instead of doing that, is that they could just re-sheet rock that
You,
room.
yeah, encapsulate it. But you have to call, to do that, you have to make sure that the person has been to school,
I know. We
and
ran
it's
into
part
that
of his
all.
credentials for
We
lead
had to have the, all asbestos.
remediation. Lead and asbestos. I mean,
At that point, just put a 6-inch down from the top, drop down seal and call it a victory. At that point,
But
for all
still, if it's
that,
flaking off, you still have to pick it up and
Well,
remove
well,
it.
now if it's on the other side of the drop
Yeah,
ceiling.
It comes through the drop, that's, that, they do all types
It
of.
hasn't gotten any worse
because I
since we
know
put a
several-
roof on.
Yeah,
You know what I
So-
mean? It's just the remnants of
Yep.
what was there when the roof leaked.
Right.
But it scares the heck out of me, like up here with the peeling, droppings. I mean, you never
Yeah.
know
Yep.
if they're
You
there.
sweep them up,
No, I know, but I know there's been kids up there at meetings.
well,
as long as they're not eating the paint chips.
We'll be all
Well, you
right.
never know.
I thought they were pretty tasty
My granddaughter
myself.
visits, she doesn't eat the paint chips.
Well, just
Now we know
because
what
you
your
don't
problem
see her, I
is,
mean,
right?
you don't know if that's the flakes on.
but yeah, that's what I'd do, is I'd go look to the county, or the State Department of
I thought they did
Corrections.
that.
Yeah.
Or New
Yeah.
Hampshire prison.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Department of
I'm sure-
Corrections.
I'm sure they're
The
looking at
state, they do, they have
I
trustees that
thought
go
that
out
had
and do it.
stopped.
I'm sure they're
because-
looking to get out.
No,
pun
they were
intended.
just out cleaning the side of the road the other day. I saw the county people out
Yeah,
there.
I did too.
And I saw the state ones doing
We
it.
had the guy that lived in Weare brought him out, and they were doing stuff for us. But all of a
Sawyer.
sudden, Sawyer
Yeah, the budget got cut.
cut, and they did away with the project, he told
Yeah,
me.
because we
Yep.
had him.
Call
do-
corrections
But
in
then I thought it
Concord.
came back.
Well, call it, find out. Only
Yep.
takes a minute.
If not the state, because the state was out there picking trash on the
Like
side
I
of the
said,
highways.
I'm sure they would love to get out, no pun intended.
Yeah.
What can I
So we
say?
all set with that?
I think we're good with that for a little while.
I think
Yeah.
we're all set with
All
it.
right, so we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah.
I do know joint loss management, I think met. I don't know if there was enough people to meet, but they had a meeting June 5th. I don't know when the next meeting is.
They did.
I don't know where we are on the age-friendly, which is Article 27. I haven't seen any updates since then, but I can go follow some, I guess.
Should have asked.
ACO, yeah, 'cause she's on the committee. ACO, I spoke to Mike, but not in regards to this. I don't believe that's ready to come forward yet, or he would have asked. I don't know on 10. I thought everything had to be in order by June 30th, but I have not heard a word.
It does. I reread the thing.
So I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be
Yeah, I don't
by
know.
It's
now.
in their hands, I think.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard a
Well,
word.
we were supposed to get documents to be reviewed by town council. I haven't seen those yet.
No.
Yeah, so,
You already made the announcement of the chief. Summer schedule open to others if we have to. I did call Attorney Drescher today, because the email wasn't coming back. I spoke to him. He promised that he would have me, our rundown of what we're supposed to do by the weekend. Week's end, I said. Okay. You did the public hearing. Now, 15 looks pretty frightening to you, but, it's really not. This week is, I'm not here from Wednesday afternoon, and then next week's riddled with a lot of personal stuff. So,
Okay.
It
Is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm reachable. I have two things I'd like to talk about in C.
Okay.
1C, 1A, and C. I think it should be. I want to talk about where we go with the IT.
That was
I need to use a name.
that was the ANC.
That's a C, and then I have a personnel matter I need to talk about an A and C.
Okay.
But that would be all I would have, and just, I need the bond paperwork back.
Good. There it is. Big stack of it.
Naomi, sometime on the harassment policy,
My
the
turn.
personnel policy, can
I won't touch
we
it.
have a copy of the old, and then what you're doing, what you've upgraded or changed?
I mean, and like I said, I think it was John asked me that. I'd be happy to give you what we're thinking about changing. If you want to go forward, and you can go ahead and do that. I was just gonna take and check with what areas around us are doing, but if that's holding you all up, that's fine. We
No, I
can
just
wait.
thought it might be nice to take a look at it.
Did we get
was
that
all.
thing back from Primex on that, or?
I have the harassment one, but there's a lot of suggestions that have been made with things that we've seen. Now, did I get my other thing back?
Sure.
You got everything back.
Yep.
Oh, wait a minute, I have this one.
Oh.
Sorry.
And I'll be happy to do that if, I got 8 other towns and what they handed me, but if that's.
No, I mean, that may work out fine, I just was
No,
curious.
I can share with you.
Yeah.
We've done the strike through and we've done the ad and
Yeah.
there's a lot of red in it, because there's a lot of things we've come across.
Yeah.
Of things that really should be changed.
Mhm.
For more than one reason. So.
All right. All set?
I'm done.
Correspondence, other business?
Yeah, I got something.
Okay, good.
Yeah, me too, when he's done.
Here we are, a month out with minutes, and we're just getting them. We need to light a fire under somebody apparently to get those minutes out quicker.
Yeah, well, the ones on the 20th, I got at 4:20 this morning.
You know, I mean, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not good
The other
because,
2 are mine.
because by law, we're supposed to have these out within a week, right?
Yeah, by law, I could comply with law what I have, because I have handwritten notes. It's just not all pretty.
Right,
But when they leave here, I don't have them.
right.
I can reiterate, I've done it once before. I think it's been mentioned.
I think you need to.
It's been mentioned when the minute taker's sitting here.
I know it has, yeah, I know you have set stuff.
I mean,
It's just frustrating, that's all.
yep.
That's it.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
I got a couple things. One of the things under other business is that, it's been brought up that we have discussions, the last meeting, discussions after the meeting's over, after we get out of non-public. Well, and that was brought up during the public session. And then went right ahead, after the meeting, tried to reopen the meeting and turned around and talk about something that should have been brought up, and that had to do with the tax property to be sold. Should have been brought up during the regular meeting and put and recorded, on YouTube and recorded in the minutes. And I think that's a bad practice, and from now on, when the meeting closes, it wasn't mission critical at that time, and I think when the meeting closes, it's closed, and I think that's what the policy we should stay with, because there's no other record. I mean, we're now no longer on camera, and it's been thrown at us that we're not being transparent. Well, that's kind of smacks of that in a way, and I think that we have to correct that, and we have to stay to the point that we stay transparent on the video. The other thing in that regard is, at the same meeting, is that Selectman Snyder brought up the fact that we did something illegal, and first it was in public and not public, and refused to discuss it. It's out there, it's in the air, and I think for our own benefit and for, to make sure we don't make these mistakes, that it should be brought up and tell us exactly what was alluded to that we did was illegal. And to try and blow it off, I think is wrong, and I think that we should have the opportunity as a board to address this, and if there's a statement made that we did something wrong, then we've got to take measures to correct it and do it immediately.
Well, to tell you, it has been taken care of, and it will not happen in the future.
That's not enough, Jan. We want to
Well,
know
I'm
what,
sorry, but I'm not saying
what the
because
issue is, then.
It's going to open up a Pandora's
No,
box.
then it has to be opened up, because you've already opened it up by making that statement in public, and it's not being transparent, and it's not being forthcoming, and it smacks of all types of other innuendos that could be thrown out. So it has to be, you brought it up, so either step up or turn around and say you were mistaken. That's the only way it's
I
gonna
what?
get done. That you were mistaken in saying that. Either step
I'm
up
not
and give it
mistaken.
what it was, or
It has
back
been
away from
taken
it.
care of now, and
No.
it won't ever happen
Whatever it
again.
is, I'd want to know what it is, and this board has the right to know. You told us that we did something illegal as this board, so.
You know what?
Let's have it,
I am
let's
not
have it
going to
out.
be sitting here and getting harassed at every single meeting.
That's not harassment.
Yes, it is harassment, because I had 3 of you bombarding me even before I could have a chance to open my mouth. And you know, I've tried to
Go.
stay, you know
You
what?
said this, and you brought it up at the
She
last minute on
asked me,
YouTube,
and
and saying we
I
did
didn't
something
bring it
illegal.
up.
You said
I-
at 56 minutes
That we did something
that
illegal.
we did something illegal, and I looked at YouTube and got it exactly. You brought that up on your own. That didn't come from any of us. So we want to know what the illegal act is, so we cannot make that mistake again. If it's not true, then say, okay, you made a mistake and back away from it. But you put it out there, so then step up and
All right, you're
call
opening
it.
up Pandora's box, because if I say something, it's gonna set a precedent out there.
Set the precedent. We'll take the heat for it, because that's what we're supposed to do.
Okay,
If we
we-
did something illegal, then let's have it.
Okay, we illegally signed a tax deed to a property owner that never paid, and the tax deed was signed in August. The party did not pay until November. That's
Were we informed,
illegal.
were we informed of that by the tax collector?
Not the tax collector. It has nothing to do
Well, the
with...
tax deeds are brought forth by the tax
No,
collector.
they're not. No,
There's no
that is
payment.
our
Who
responsibility.
notifies us that the taxes have not been paid?
That, you don't know what a tax deed is.
Yeah,
The
it's when we
tax
take
deed-
it for, we take the property for taxes, and it gets deeded to us.
No. It gets deeded to us.
That's right.
That's her responsibility, the
But
tax
she also,
collectors.
she also has to
n-
inform us that the taxes haven't been paid on that property. Is that correct? She notifies us.
Wait a minute, no, yes, that part is already done.
Yeah?
What I am referring to is when it's now in our hands,
Who's the property owner? Which property was it?
I'm not, you don't want to get into names.
When was it? I mean, you've put it out there that it was in public, so when was this done, and what was it? What was the property? When was this supposedly done?
Would have been December. December of probably last year. The party you're talking about is deceased. She was deceased.
Yeah?
Her
Well,
parents were buying it back. Didn't follow through. They ended up buying it back at the end.
Oh,
But you guys had
I know
already
which
signed
one
the
it is.
deed.
You had already signed it. That wasn't illegal.
yes, it was illegal because we
We'd
had no
already-
right signing a town of Ware tax deed
We-
to a party that did not pay for it.
You signed it, it just didn't.
It never got
recorded
done because of the-
until
Yes,
after.
it was recorded.
Well, I'm.
It
not
was
gonna
recorded
with you.
because I looked it up.
I get in trouble.
Then how come it took all the way from then till now for you to bring that up?
It was brought up at the time it happened. I'll go back and look at the minutes and see what happens, see what it says.
Which
That
I
was
think
an
is that the
illegal
one-
event.
That's one you're alluding to in non-public, because we would have talked about the parties and the tax payment in non-public.
Right, I didn't want to bring that up. I didn't.
But that's what's out there, I'm just saying, because I got 2 phone calls today wanting to know exactly what we did.
It was
If it was
illegal.
in non-public, what are we leaking out and things, and I just said, and avoided it. Because what we talked about and that particular deed probably was done non-publicly because of the situation.
No.
I don't ask you, well, hang on one second.
Okay.
When somebody comes to pay back the taxes
Yes.
and you want to make a deal with half of the. All right, well, just-
None of us knew about a deal. And if it's in minutes, we didn't know about any deal. We were led to believe that the deed was okay to sign over. And it wasn't.
But I had
and
talked to you-
You did talk to us after I went up and sat with you because I realized it wasn't on the revenues for the tax deeded property, and that was in November, and you told me it was kind of funny that that day you received a phone call from the party, and they were going to be paying for it the following week.
Because the first sale went through, and they were dealing with her estate. Now, there's parents that...
We didn't have the money in hand, Naomi.
But listen, when I come in non-public, you've always offered 50% off the interest.
It has
if
nothing
they're
to do with it.
Well, let me finish. I let you.
Okay.
So, I'll ask you about 50% of the interest. You make that deal, not me.
Right. I
So
agree
that
with
would have
that.
been non-public,
Okay.
okay? So at the time I brought it to you, he had a buyer. You're talking about parents that have lost a daughter that are trying to sell the
She
home.
hadn't died at that point. She didn't die until after that fact.
Well, I'm not going to stake anything on it, but still, it was talked about in non-public in order for the deal to be made, because we're talking about someone.
But we didn't make a deal not to have the money in hand before we signed the deed.
Well, I didn't know the sale was going to fall through, neither did he.
But we don't have to sign it until we have the money in hand.
Okay.
And you said at the time that you made a mistake and that it would never happen again, and that's why I just repeated what you said prior to being pushed on this issue.
But we did talk about it in non-public.
We had
No,
to.
we
We had
didn't.
to have.
We had to have,
We had to have originally talked about it in non-public.
because of reputation.
Right.
We had to have.
We have signed plenty of tax deeds across the table without having it non-public.
That's correct.
That's
but
correct.
they haven't asked for 50% off.
They didn't come in
They
and
paid in
ask.
full.
Yes, you did. You did the 50% after the fact, not before.
I believe I asked
We don't,
because I wouldn't have made that deal without the board asking.
Well, technically, a deed was recorded without having money in hand, and we should have had money in hand. And you agreed to that at the time.
Yeah, I still agree with that, but I need that sale fell through.
But that is illegal.
Okay,
Here it is.
so if that's the
so
item.
basically,
that's the
we're
item.
all on the hook for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to turn around, and why didn't you say that to begin with? Just turn around and throw it out there like trying to bait somebody and just come out and say it right in the beginning. We won't make that mistake again. How do we know? You're trying to, you're not,
It was explained to you.
no, it wasn't explained until just now, was
No,
what you
not
were
by
referred
me.
to
It was
about.
explained by
about the
Naomi
illegal
when
act.
after I found
you
it
made
that
an
night, she
illusion.
came down and explained it.
You
what
made an
happened.
illusion 2 weeks ago about us doing an illegal act, and this
Well, we
is the
did.
first we got the explanation of it from your
But this
mouth
is what
to
we
our
didn't know
ears.
what it was.
Right.
We didn't know what
We
it
didn't know what
was.
it was. I didn't know what it was. I had no clue.
And you're
Well,
talking
it was
about
ad-
something,
It was admitted
this is
to
June,
in December when
and
we
you're
got
talking
the...
6 months ago.
Okay.
How much business have we done in 6 months?
Okay. Now we know. Now we know.
That's all I've got.
So from now on, we'll make sure we have the money in hand before we sign anything.
Well, it won't happen again, and Naomi assured us that it would
We'll
not.
make sure we,
Haven't, because I've not been cutting anybody a deal, so
Right.
yep, we don't cut them.
Makes
She
life
doesn't
easier.
cut them a deal, we do.
it's easy
Yeah,
enough to do.
we have to cut the deal.
You have
Right.
to, I have to ask if you'll do that.
If we even want to do it.
Right,
And it's
beforehand.
case by case basis. So, okay. Anything else? No, yes, maybe? Okay. Move to go in non-public under RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2C. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will be having one after that for an A and C for personnel, and we will be adjourning after that.